Okay, today we're going to learn to play Holmes, Sherlock and Mycroft, a game by Diego Ibanez. It's a game for 2 players, it takes about half an hour, and it's for ages 10 plus. Now this is a set collection game. So the 2 players take the roles of the 2 brothers, each trying to collect more evidence about a bombing at the Houses of Parliament. So let's see how it plays. So here we are, set up at the start of the game. Each player takes 3 meatballs in their colour and 5 investigation tokens. On the board we have 3 characters right from the start in every game. Your reliable friends Dr. Watson, Mrs. Hudson and Inspector Lestrade. We also have 4 cards turned over that we can see. The object of the game is to collect sets of cards of the same number. So here we can see we have 2 cards with the number 7, which seems like a good start for a set collection. To do that, each player will take turns putting one of their meeples onto the board. And each of the different people on the board has got a separate power. So the 3 that you'll always have, Dr. Watson, if you put your character there, you spend 1 investigation token and you can take 1 face-up card. Easy. Mrs. Hudson, you put your meeple there, you get to take 3 investigation tokens from the supply, add them to yours. Or Inspector Lestrade, you spend 3 investigation tokens and you can take 2 cards. For day 1, you have 2 other characters. So in this game we have Wiggins and Porky. Wiggins is very simple. Wiggins allows you to take 5 investigation tokens from the supply. Porky allows you to discard 1 to 3 cards from the face-up cards. So let's have a try. We'll start with the orange player, and he's going to try and get these 7 cards. He goes to Inspector Lestrade, he pays his 3 investigation tokens and takes the 2 number 7s and forms the first set. So now we refill the visible cards, and it's the blue player's turn. And the blue player also wants to take some cards, so he will also visit Inspector Lestrade, pay his 3, and take 2 cards. I'm going to quickly play out the rest of day 1, and then we'll see what happens at the end of the turn. So we've reached the end of day 1. All the meeples have gone out and interviewed people in the city. And now we start day 2. To start day 2, we have a new character who we've discovered is important. Here we have Violet Hunter, who allows you to swap a card that you have with one of the visible cards. In addition, some of the characters who we've already met are exhausted or they're afraid of the law. So any person who 2 people have visited becomes spent, and no one can use them for this round. And he will wake up again in day 3. Porky Johnson, only 1 person visited, so he's still okay. We can still visit him. The 3 reliable characters that you have at the start of the game are never exhausted. They never get sick of your company, so even if 2 people visit, they're still available. So now it's the start of the second day. The first player remains the first player for the whole game, so in this case it's Orange. And Orange moves one of their meeples. Now to move a meeple, it has to go to a different card and it can't go somewhere you already have a meeple. So this one could go to Watson but couldn't go to Lestrade because there's already an orange one there. So in this case, maybe we'll go to Dr. Watson, pay 1 and take a card. He's going to take this wild card, which he can choose to add to a pile on its own to make a pile later on, or add it to the pile of 7s he already has, which seems like a good plan. Then it's the blue player's turn, moves a meeple, takes 3 investigation markers, and so on and so forth as we go out through all the days. Now let's move all the way to the end of the game to think about end game scoring. So here we are at the end of the game. We've played out 7 rounds and our players have collected their cards. So let's talk about how you get points. Most of the cards have numbers on them, and that is how many cards of each number there are in the game, and also how many points you get from collecting the most of that set of cards. So in this case, we'll start with the number 9. the blue player has 3 9 cards and the orange player has no 9 cards, which means the blue player has the most. They get 9 points minus 0 because that's how many cards the orange player has. So that's a pretty good start, 9 points. And then we'll work our way down through the numbers. So the blue player has 2 8s and the orange player only has 1. That means the blue player gets 8 points minus 1, 7 more points. We're up to 16, doing quite well. For the number 7, the blue player has 2, but the orange player sneakily used a wild card, so they have 3. This means that the orange player is going to get 7 points minus 2, 5 points for the orange player. We'll work our way through the other numbers. An important rule, if you can get all of the cards of one number, so here the orange player has collected 3 of the number 3, you get a bonus 3 points. So they'll get 3 for having 3 cards and the other player having none, but also 3 more points. It's always 3. If you get all 9 of the 9 cards, then you get 9 points plus 3 for having all the cards. The last thing that's important are map fragments. So there are 5 map fragments in the game, and you get an increasing number of points depending on how many map fragments you collect. If you get only 1 map fragment, like our poor orange player has, you lose 1 point at the end of the game. But after that, the points go up. So if you have 2, you get 1 point, 3, you get 3 points, 4, you get 6 points, and if you get all 5, you get 10 points for map fragments. So the last thing to do before we get to the final score is to remember wild cards. We saw the orange player use one well before, but the blue player unfortunately has left one unassigned, which is minus 3 points. So we add up all the scores, and here the orange player has 15 points, the blue player has 16. Congratulations to the blue player. As you play, the characters come out in a different order each time. There's more characters than there are days, so some characters will not be used and some will be used. Lots of different powers, lots of things to explore. But this is how you play Holmes, Sherlock and Mycroft.